I think it's fair to say that Boxing Day in the Championship did not disappoint. We had some ridiculous games going on, so do let me know in the comments down below what do you make of your team's performance on Boxing Day. We had Leeds beating Blackburn by 3-2. Kamal Roof scoring 2 very dramatic late goals in that one to give Leeds all 3 points. We saw Norwich drawing 3-3 with Nottingham Forest, with Norwich turning that one around late on to go ahead and salvage a point from that game. We had QPR beating Ipswich by 3-0. Sheff Utd beat Derby by 3-1. Some really bizarre games going on, so do let me know in the comments down below what do you make of your team's performance. But we'll be moving on into our Championship Week 19 score predictions in today's video. So all this weekend's fixtures will be listed in the description down below so that you guys can easily go ahead and make your score predictions. And if you do manage to get any of them correct, your comment will be included into the next video. And speaking of your comments, here are your comments on screen now. If any of you guys did successfully manage to get any of your Boxing Day score predictions correct, so fair play to everyone who did get one right. It was a pretty tough one to get right in my opinion. I will leave a poll for you guys to vote on for what you think was the goal of Boxing Day and the result as well. In terms of mine, the result has to be Leeds United. Then in terms of the best goal of Boxing Day, there were a couple of belters scored, but myself personally, I'm just going to give it to Harry Wilson. It was a top class free kick. But without further ado, we will move on into my score predictions. So first up, we got Birmingham going up against Brentford this weekend, and currently Birmingham only find themselves 2 points off the playoffs. I find that absolutely crazy, considering all the turbulence going on around the club before the season did start. Gary Monk is doing absolute wonders at Birmingham at this point in time. It was a fantastic performance on Boxing Day against Stoke City. 2 top class goals scored there from Magoma and Omar Bogle. Bogle's been the player who I haven't been very impressed by whenever I have seen him play for Birmingham so far, but he's got an absolute belter on Boxing Day, so the longer he can continue that form, the better really. Going up against this Brentford defence, I think that Birmingham can get a bit of joy out of it, although one thing that does have to be said about Brentford is lately in the Championship they may have turned a little bit of a corner. They are unbeaten in their last 2 matches. The game they had against Bristol City last time out, I thought they were looking decent in it. Neil Maupay scored another goal in that game. That's his 14th of the season now. Brentford cannot afford to be losing Neil Maupay in the January transfer window, that's one thing for sure. And I am just going to back Birmingham because I feel like they've got a bit more of an edge about them at this point in time. They're hungry to get into the playoffs this season, and I'll just back them for a 2-1 home victory. That'll be quite an open game of football though. I'll say 2-1 Birmingham. Fifa's going to say 2-0 Brentford. And then we see Bolton going up against Stoke City. Bolton picked up a huge result on Boxing Day, beating Rotherham United, which pulls them back into the picture of not being relegated this season. They are only 1 point away from Rotherham, and picking up another result this weekend against this Stoke City side could be massive for them. In terms of quality, it did look to be a very scrappy game of football. You know, it wasn't the highest quality of game of football between Bolton and Rotherham, but the 3 points is all that matters from their perspective. Going up against this Stoke side, you never really know what you're going to get from them. They've already drawn 10 games so far this season. The game they had on Boxing Day, I thought they dropped below their usual levels really. It was quite a poor performance against the Birmingham side, who had the better of it for the majority of the game really. Stoke should be imposing their style onto this game. You know, in terms of attacking quality, Stoke should outmatch Bolton in this game, but Bolton seem to have a bit of a spirit about them lately. They seem to have a bit of resilience that wasn't there earlier on into this season, and they picked up recently with some of their performances. Stoke do have attacking threats going forward, but I still feel as if so far this season they've not quite clicked up into gear yet, and for that reason I'm going to say that this one will finish as a 1-1 draw, with FIFA also agreeing with me. And then we got Bristol City going up against Rotherham United. Rotherham not on the best run of form in the Championship. Currently they're only 1 point above Bolton Wanderers now after that loss on Boxing Day, and they're going up against a Bristol City side who find themselves on a decent run of form currently. They're unbeaten in their last 6 Championship matches now, and their performances have slowly been getting better. You know, the one they had on Boxing Day wasn't the best that we've seen of Bristol City so far this season, but even so I think they are going in the right direction once again after having an awful run of form before this 6-game unbeaten streak. I do fancy Bristol City for this game. I think that lately Rotherham have been conceding some quite soft goals. That was seen in the game they had against Bolton Wanderers. That was a huge opportunity for Rotherham to pull away from the bottom 3, but they've been dragged straight back down into it, and going up against a side like Bristol City who have been showing a lot more edge going forward lately, I'm going to back the home side for a 2-1 home victory in this game, with FIFA saying it'll just be 1-0 Bristol City. And then we got Leeds United going up against Hull City. Leeds fans, let me know in the comments down below what were you feeling in the game you had against Blackburn Rovers. Absolutely bonkers. I said it in my last video, but I am still convinced that Leeds are going to go on to win the Championship this year. That just never say die attitude they seem to have about themselves. Kamal Roof been scoring some clutch goals for them recently, and what a turnaround it was in the game they had against Blackburn. Even when they did find themselves, you know, losing in that game, they were probably the better side for the majority of that game anyway. But going up against a Hull side is going to be an interesting proposition for them. Hull find themselves unbeaten in their last 6 Championship matches. They've been scoring quite a few goals lately as well. In their last 5 matches, they've scored 12 goals, so they do bring quite an attacking threat into this game. Their last game was against my team, Preston End, and I thought they had some good options going forward. Grosicki I thought was looking very good. Jackson Irvine, a good physical presence going forward as well. And Hull do have a chance in this game, you know. They do have a bit of an edge about them. They've been slowly climbing up the Championship recently, and Leeds at times can look a little bit lacklustre defensively with a couple of injuries they've had recently. But their intensity and drive going forward has been what served them so well recently, and they are rightly sat top of the Championship currently. So I do feel as if this could be a really good game this weekend, but I am going to back Leeds for a 3-1 home victory. I just feel like they're on another level at this point in time. I'll say 3-1 Leeds. Thief's going to say it'll be a 1-1 draw. Then we've got Middlesbrough going up against Ipswich Town, and I'm not sure what way to approach this game really. Ipswich still sat at the bottom of the Championship. They had an awful performance against QPR on Boxing Day, losing 3-0 in that game. We thought that maybe Ipswich had turned a little bit of a corner after their last two games, beating Wigan and drawing with Sheff Utd, but I think they were brought back down to reality with the game they had against QPR. Some of their defending in that game was absolutely woeful. I think they're now 7 points off safety, but they're going up against a Middlesbrough side who really haven't been brilliant lately. Some of the football they've been playing this season is just absolutely soul-draining to watch under Tony Pulis. It's really not an attractive brand of football. Obviously, they are sat in the top 6, so you maybe can't have too many complaints, but some of their performances have just been so negative this season. The way they set up against Sheffield Wednesday, so defensive, against a side who struggled defensively so far this season. Middlesbrough didn't go into that one with an attacking mindset whatsoever, and with Pulis, I feel like things need to change. They need to have a big January transfer window. They need to get some more creativity in that side, and Pulis needs to play to their strengths. I can't see this one being a very good game of football, if I'm being completely honest. I think that the quality of the final third of both sides probably isn't going to be quite there, and for this game, I'm gonna back Middlesbrough for a 1-0 home victory. They have been quite awful in some of their performances lately, but I will back the home side. FIFA's going to say it'll be 1-1. And then we got Millwall going up against Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest lately, things haven't been going all too well for them. They've dropped all the way down to 10th in the Championship, and they are now without a win in their last 4 matches. Going up against a Millwall side who are a bit of a tricky customer so far this season. They've only won 1 of their last 9 Championship matches. However, in their last game, they picked up a massive 3 points against the Reading side who are now in the bottom 3. Millwall are quite a hard side to predict really, because a lot of their performances so far this season, they played well for sort of 20-minute spells in both halves, but then they let themselves down for the rest of it with some silly defensive blunders. Going up against a Forest side who lately haven't been brilliant in the Championship. Forest fans, I'd be very interested to get your opinion on what you made of the game you had against Norwich City, drawing 3-3 in the end, somehow throwing it away in very dramatic circumstances. Something that came out after that game as well was that Aitor Kroenke was supposedly being put under pressure and could actually be losing his job. Since then, that's come out that that's not the case, and I think Forest would be stupid to go ahead and sack Aitor Kroenke. They are building towards something at this point in time, albeit they have hit a bit of a rough patch in their season at this point in time, but even so, they'd be foolish to get rid of Kroenke in my opinion. For this game, I'm going to back it to finish as a 1-1 draw. Thief's going to say it'll be 2-1 Forest. That's a tough one this weekend. And then we got Norwich going up against Derby County. Norwich involved in an absolutely bonkers game on Boxing Day, drawing 3-3 with Nottingham Forest. An enthralling game where Onel Hernandez scored 2 stoppage time goals to level that one up for Norwich City. Onel Hernandez is a player who I think should be starting once again for Norwich City. He's a player who gives them something different, looks to stretch the opposition going in behind, and his final product has been very good in recent weeks. Going up against the Derby side who lately haven't been brilliant. They are still sat in the top 6, but they've not won in their last 3 matches. The game they had on Boxing Day, I thought they were very poor in that one really. They dropped below their usual levels. Defensively, they were looking all over the place, and I couldn't really see a drive or determination about this Derby side. That's sort of been lacking from their performances lately, and for this game, I think Norwich are going to have more quality. They tend to create quite a lot of chances per 90 minutes, and going up against the Derby defence, who have been looking a little bit nimble lately, I think Norwich will edge this one. I'll say 2-1 to the home side. Thief is going to say a 1-1 draw. And then we see Preston going up against Aston Villa. I think that the away side should be fancying their chances coming into this one really. The injury list that Preston have at this point in time is absolutely ridiculous. We've got 9 players currently out injured, as well as Ben Pearson, who's going to miss 3 more games through suspension, and Preston's record without Ben Pearson really is quite shoddy actually, so I'm not feeling very confident going into this game. Villa I think have been looking alright lately in the Championship. It's a good chance for Villa now to gain some ground on the top 6 as well, with sides like Derby and Middlesbrough not looking brilliant at this point in time. Is a good chance for Villa to catch up to them. The problem that Alex Neil has at this point in time is we don't really have any sort of tactical flexibility, because we've only got 1 winger fit at this point in time, that's Tom Barkhuizen, and we've only got 1 striker fit, that's Lucas Nemecha, who's yet to score a goal so far this season. So Alex Neil's hands are really tied behind his back. He doesn't have many options to go into this game. Players are looking tired, and the players who aren't tired are currently injured, so really I'm not fancying our chances for this one. I think the Villa's pace and power going forward really could be our undoing in this one. Our last game against Villa earlier in the season finished as a 3-3 draw, a really good game that one, but for this one I think Villa will get the better of us. I'll say that Villa will walk away with a 3-1 away victory despite some of the players that they're currently missing, like Jack Grealish and Twan Zabi. I still feel as if they'll have way more than we do in this one. So I'll say 3-1 Villa. FIFA same, it'll be a 1-1 draw. And then we see QPR going up against Reading. Reading not getting off to the best start with their new manager Jose Gomez in their last game, losing 1-0 away at Millwall and having 2 players sent off in that game as well. Going up against QPR, who've been absolutely unbelievable in the Championship lately. They won their last 3 games and currently sit just 2 points outside the playoffs. Steve McLaren is doing an absolutely wonderful job at QPR at this point in time. Defensively, they're incredibly resilient, and at the moment they're scoring a ton of goals. Reading are a side who is just lacking confidence at this point in time. The players they've got in there, I'm not sure they've got the quality to stay up, and it's really going to be a relegation dogfight for them this season. QPR lately have been blowing sides out of the water. The 3-0 home victory they picked up last time against Ipswich Town, ruthless going forward, and I think that will carry on into this game against Reading. I'm going to back QPR for a 3-1 home victory. With FIFA same, it'll be a 1-1 draw. Then we got Sheff Utd going up against Blackburn Rovers. Sheff Utd I was very impressed by with their performance against Derby County. I thought it was dominant for them. They outfought them. They were looking a lot more clinical going forward, and some nice finishes in that game as well. Dave McGoldrick looking quite good in that one. Going up against Blackburn Rovers, who are, they threw it away against Leeds United, losing that game by 3-2. Somehow, they were going into the 90th minute 2-1 up, and somehow they threw it away to lose it 3-2 in the end. Going up against Sheff Utd is going to be a tough game for Blackburn. They've been slowly slipping down the Championship lately. Some of the results they've been picking up haven't been too consistent, especially away from home. Not quite got that resilience they had defensively at the start of the season. Sheff Utd have had a couple of falters so far, but I think it is a good chance for them to go ahead and carry on this momentum they picked up against Derby County. And for this game, I am going to fancy them for a 2-1 home victory. With FIFA same, it'll be 2-0 Blackburn. Then Swansea going up against Wigan Athletic. Swansea have lost their last 2 matches in the Championship. Wigan have lost their last 4. Wigan lately have been looking absolutely all over the place. Going forward, they've not really got a lot to offer. Without Nick Powell in that squad, they just seem they can't really break sides down, and defensively as well, they've been really all over the place. This Swansea side is very up and down so far this season. The game they had against Villa, I didn't think they were awful. They missed a penalty in that game, which could have seen them getting a point from it. But even so, Swansea do tend to be one of these momentum sides so far this season. A home game against Wigan, though, is a very good opportunity for them to get back to winning ways. They're going to look to get on the ball for this one, look to play Wigan around, and look to slowly break them down. And I do see if Swansea get an early goal in this game, I think that could be lights out for Wigan in terms of this one. They really do need to turn their form around sooner rather than later. But do I see it happening in this game? I'm not so sure. I'm going to back Swansea for a 2-1 home victory in this game. With FIFA same, it'll be 2-0 Swansea. And then finally we got West Brom going up against Sheffield Wednesday. Since Sheffield Wednesday have sacked their manager, they've won their last 2 matches by 1 goal to 0. And since Kieran Westwood has come back into the starting 11, they have managed to keep 2 clean sheets. They're going to have to work incredibly hard to keep a clean sheet in this game though. West Brom lately have been looking incredibly ruthless going forward, and in my opinion at this point in time the Championship is looking like the race for the title will be a 3-horse race between Leeds United, Norwich City and West Brom. I'm not sure Sheffield United quite have the consistency to challenge for the top 2, but we'll see. West Brom though have been looking incredibly good lately. Going up against this Wednesday side who have been looking a lot more resilient, it's going to be a very interesting tactical battle. I do see West Brom edging this one. I think so far Sheffield Wednesday, it was a fantastic result they picked up against Middlesbrough and Preston, but even so, they're 2 sides who haven't been brilliant lately in the Championship. West Brom I think are a different animal to the sides that Sheffield Wednesday have played lately. I do think that Sheffield Wednesday will try and go toe-to-toe with them. I think they've got a much better chance going into this game with some of the tactical changes they've been making lately, but I am going to back West Brom for a 2-1 home victory. With FIFA saying it'll be 2-1 Sheffield Wednesday. That'll be a really good game. But guys, they have it. There are my score predictions for what I think is going to happen this weekend in the Championship. Do you guys agree? Let me know in the comments down below. But apart from that, thank you very much for watching, guys. If you did go in to enjoy the video, make sure you leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. As well as that, make sure you subscribe for some regular Championship content. But apart from that, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.